Hello friends, and welcome to this edition of Breakfast with the Vicar. I'm the Reverend David Perry from Salisbury, and I welcome you. Is there anything that you have noticed about people during this time of enforced isolation? Well, the one thing I've noticed is just how very creative people are. All over the world, little videos are popping up showing all sorts of skills being exploited for the amusement of others. People singing, doing gymnastics, making huge and elaborate practical jokes, and so on. People are painting, drawing, singing, acting, dancing, videoing and writing. It's amazing. It's like being surrounded by a world full of creativity, and it's wonderful. But why? Why is it happening? Well, obviously people are bored and they have time on their hands. But why are they creative rather than just slobbing around? Well, the answer, I think, is obviously simple, but it is normally obscured by normal life. Firstly, the spark of creativity is inside every one of us, and this is simply a state of life. It is there. Who doesn't sing in the shower? Who doesn't doodle on the pad when they're on the phone? Or who doesn't enjoy telling a good story? What teenage girl doesn't pout when taking a selfie? And what young man doesn't big it up when he's out with his mates? We all love to be creative, and this is because God is creative, and the image of God lives in all of us. God, the Creator God, loves to create. Just look around us. We do not live in a simple, boring universe, but in a system so enormously complex that it is endlessly fascinating, endlessly wonderful, and deep beyond imagining. This came from the mind of the Creator God. When we were brought into existence by this Creator God, He gave us a spark of the same creativity, and so we like to create. So why don't we create more often? Well, mostly I think it is because we are constrained by our lives and we are deadened by our work. Now, as a theologian, I might argue that the dark forces that work against God love to deaden us, to keep the Spirit of God from really taking off and allowing us endless pleasure. I might say that, but not now. A few years ago I was fortunate, if that's the word, to have a year off work because of an illness. I discovered that during the time I was more creative, more fulfilled and more energetic than I had been whilst working my usual diet of shifts and night duties. Like it or not, the job that I loved and had loved for 20 odd years had been killing the spark of creativity within me. I learned to paint, to play guitar and do many things that I could not do whilst working. Of course, I had bills to pay, so I had to return to work, but nevertheless, it showed me that there is a spark of creativity which work kills. The poet Philip Larkin knew this when he wrote his marvellous poem Toads. Larkin starts, "Why should I let this toad work, squat on my life? Work ruins us." Now, as we struggle through enforced worklessness, or many do, we all have the opportunity to see this toad work really does squat on our lives. There is more, so much more, that we could be doing and getting from our lives if we altered our values slightly. And many people are taking the opportunity and being hugely and wonderfully creative. If we chased the wages a little less, if we settled for a little less of this and that, a cheaper car, no car, fewer foreign holidays, no foreign holidays. Imagine our lives if instead of being nothing but a wage slave, we worked as we needed to live, and then we really lived the lives God gave us to live. Jesus made this explicit when he told us to consider the lilies of the field and the birds of the air. What Jesus told us was simply this: stop chasing stuff you don't need. What you need is given. Everything else becomes false gods, our little gods that we worship. The cars, the holidays, the boats, the houses, the power, the profit, the money. And we do this at our peril, friends, because those gods kill us in the end, inside and out. These false gods we worship cannot help us. They cannot do anything except enslave us. Of course, some will hear these words and switch off. All this talk of God and his creativity is anathema to some people. So to them I say this: look around you. Everywhere we look, people are creative as soon as they get the chance. That comes from somewhere. Anyway, friends, whether you do it for God or mammon, have a think about the kind of person you want to be when all this is over. Do you slavishly return to what was, the way things were, when the creativity inside you was stifled and deadened? Or do you want to be free? Free to be creative, to love and decide what world you live in. Be brave, my friends, and make wise choices in the end. But for now, get creative and let those creative juices flow. Keep the videos coming. Blessings to you all. Bye-bye.